What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, StudioMguyvR, and you are listening to StudioMguyvR's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the show. Sorry, excuse me, guys, there. Episode 161 is the episode, and I want to know how everybody out there is doing. Hope everybody's staying inside. This coronavirus shit is crazy. We're all waiting for all of this to stop, come to an end. Nobody really knows when it will, but I hope you guys are staying inside, playing lots of video games, watching lots of anime, movies, whatever. If you're into anime, if you're into video games, nerd culture, then you've come to the right place. We talk about all of that here, and welcome to the family. Now, today I have a few things I want to talk about, guys. I have some news on a couple of things. I want to talk a little bit about Chapter 59 of Dragon Ball Super. Yes, there are some things that have come to the light. Nothing really of any significance, but there's a few things that I want to kind of touch on. What I've been doing this past week, guys, a lot of fucking TV. I did get a chance to check out Ozark. Finally wrapped that up. Awesome show. Season 3 was crazy. And what anime have I been looking at, man? I've been enjoying myself watching some dope ass anime. A couple of them that come to mind. One of them I finished all the way done with, and the next one I am halfway there, actually on 4 seasons, and I'm on season 3 right now. Enjoying the fuck out of this anime. Gonna talk about that. And yeah, man, what games have I been playing? I've been playing Nintendo Switch, plenty of that, and I recently just started Final Fantasy 15. Yes, finally got on there. I was going through Microsoft, seeing what they had. I had actually had my heart set on Vampire, but for whatever reason, they removed it from the store. It is no longer free to play. So then I said, okay, I see Final Fantasy 15 here, Royal Edition. So I downloaded that, which was 136 gigs. Fucking huge. But downloaded it, started it, got through the training mode portion of the game. I had a lot of stuff going on, so I had to kind of use my time wisely. But yeah, I think that's going to be the next game that I lose myself into. From what I've played so far, which is very little, I like what I'm seeing right now, and only time will tell. But RPGs like these, man, they take forever to complete. And if you're somebody like me who has to do all the fucking side quests, then it's gonna be a while. Might as well pack a lunch and plenty of juice if I'm gonna be playing something like this. So yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, man, just a few things I want to talk about. The coronavirus, like I stated before, is basically taking the world by storm. It's causing all kinds of shit in the air out here in these video game streets, these anime streets. But most importantly than that, just the streets in general, man. Everybody has been affected by this in some shape, form, or fashion. And I'm going to talk about one of these streams that is affected, actually a couple of them, if you will. So yeah, man, just typical going through the day type of stuff. Going to talk about what I've been doing and whatnot. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. So I want to I guess I want to start with a little bit of light news. And one of the games I want to talk about when it comes to this light news is a game that I'm sure some of you guys may be familiar with, especially the older players out there. You might be familiar with this game, and that game is Streets of Rage 4. Now, if you don't know what Streets of Rage is, it's a franchise that goes way back to the fucking 90s. I think maybe even late 80s. Can't remember the actual date, but I remember having all those games on the Sega Genesis, and they had I think just enjoying my weekends, man, playing these beat 'em ups. It's an actual beat 'em up game, and they finally have been working on this the new one. It's been in the works for quite some time, still not out yet, but got a little bit of news on that. The graphics look up to date. They look very crisp, very 2020-ish, I guess you can put it. But what's so cool about it is they've announced a classic edition, and basically you can actually play the whole game in classic mode. Those sprites, those beautiful sprite-like graphics that you remember at the arcades or you remember on your Sega Genesis, and that's also so fucking dope. Another thing I didn't know about this game is that they're going to be having 17 characters. Like, that's a lot of fucking characters. I don't remember 17 playable characters in Streets of Rage, man, in any of them. But apparently that is going to be a thing, and that's going to be something I'm looking forward to. A company by the name of Limited Run Games is going to be doing some physical releases. So apparently, the game is going to be download only for the most part. And a company like Limited Run Games is a company that specializes in making physical copies or physical versions of games that don't necessarily come out, with a physical release. We live in an age now where, DLC is king, and a lot of these companies, decide to make games and keep them download only. So I guess cutting out the cost of manufacturing and all of that stuff, and especially when you're talking about like Nintendo Switch, those cartridges are pretty expensive to, make and set up and everything. So they are cutting corners, and not doing physical releases, which I kind of hate, because I do like my physical releases. And this company, Limited Run Games, is known out here in these video game streets, man, for making that shit happen for you. And they basically make it look like a actual game, like it came out and they did a physical copy of it. That you get the fucking case, you get a nice, you get a beautiful art book with it, you know what I mean, sometimes, and you definitely get the cover art for sure, and they take care of you on that, and you definitely get the cartridge. So I, haven't got anything from Limited Games yet, but I'm looking forward to a couple games that I would like to have added to the collection, and Streets of Rage is one that they already have in the works, and they have a couple different versions of the game, but I'm looking forward to this, guys. Just thought I'd lay that news out here. If you're a beat 'em up fan, if you are a fan of Streets of Rage in general, like me, then you probably want to be looking into this, man, because they are definitely pulling out all the stops on this classic edition shit. And I, for one, would love a piece of this one. Moving on, a little bit more news, guys. This is older news, but I recently came upon it, and I was talking about it, at an older podcast, but I didn't necessarily have the names at the time. They kind of slipped my mind, but I wanted to talk about, what's going on, or in the future of PlayStation 5, and what they're trying to do, what Sony's trying to do with some of these major AAA titles, or properties, if you will. Sony actually is trying to buy, let me get this out. Sony really wants to buy Metal Gear. They also want to buy Castlevania and Silent Hill from Konami. Now, Konami is the publisher who owns the rights to these entities, these properties, and Sony is trying to, make some moves. Now, we know Sony has the capital. We know Sony has the money to make this happen. And basically what I guess Sony's trying to do is they want to get these, they want to buy these properties so that they can start making games their way. And this is, I really hope this shit goes through, man, because Sony, when it comes to game making, they are one of the best, man. Their in-house studios, their in-house developers, man, are some of the best we get. God of War, we get a lot of dope shit. Some of my favorite games of all time by Team Eco or Gen Design, who've made, Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. These are companies who work, under that Sony umbrella. And if we can get that, I'll be so excited. I would love to see another Silent Hill game. Silent Hill used to be the shit. I used to love Silent Hill back in the day, man. And a lot of those games still hold up to this day, even right now. Metal Gear, of course, I think we all know about Metal Gear. So there's no denying how dope they are. But yeah, man, I just really hope they make this move, and I have complete faith that they get this job done one way or the other. Anyway, moving on to the next topic at hand, guys. Man, I want to talk a little bit about Dragon Ball Super, man. Dragon Ball Super Chapter 59. Now, the actual English portion of the manga is not officially out yet, but the Japanese version is, okay. And there's been some YouTubers out here that's basically been breaking down what's been happening, and they can't read it, so that they're going by what they see in the manga, and a lot of things are happening right now. You really have Goku going up against Moro, which I've talked about this in the past. Moro, I think, is one of the dopest villains in Dragon Ball since Frieza, in my opinion, which Frieza is my favorite all time. uh, in the whole series. But Moro, man, has really stepped up to the fucking plate, man, and he is showing his ass in so many different ways, and it's great, man. He's doing his thing. He's just a unique character. I really like what they're doing with him in the manga, and this is really one of the best arcs in Dragon Ball Super. This is the best arc in my opinion, better than the Tournament of Power, all of that shit. If you ask me, guys, I mean, some might argue that the Goku Black and all of that, but I think this is, and this is manga form. This is not even anime. Wait till they put this shit on anime. If they do everything they're supposed to do, and they don't fuck over, the animators, and they take their time and they're not rushed with this, I think it has the potential to be something really, really special, man. I really think so. We don't have any news on any anime from Dragon Ball coming anytime soon, so it's safe to say we probably won't hear anything, this year. If we're lucky, we might get something on the tail end this year. But I really hope, or I really think that they're waiting to get this arc done before they move forward with the anime. Who knows? They could be drawing this shit right now. They could be working on it right now, and they're just not ready to let the cat out the bag. But I don't know, man. I think somebody in today's age, somebody would find out something, because you cannot. It is so hard to keep shit tight-lipped nowadays, man. With the technology we have now, I mean, it could be leaked in a matter of fucking seconds. And trying to keep a lid on stuff like this, things that are as big as Dragon Ball, that's gonna be a tough task, man. So I definitely will keep you guys posted. If I hear something, you'll be the first to know, especially talking about Dragon Ball shit. But this fight with Goku and Moro right now going on now, Moro has mastered, basically, I can't say mastered. I can say he's got Ultra Instinct down to where he can pretty much draw on it at will now. Now, getting it, perfecting it to the point where he's utilizing the complete power of it, I can't say that. But he's now able to draw upon it on will, and it's still not enough for Moro. And I kind of figured that. I mean, him and Moro going at it right now. Right now, that's the top fight, and what's going on, what's taking place. And, of course, Moro's so powerful. He's got a lot of different things in his fucking back pocket. And I'm assuming that's what he's telling Goku. And even Vegeta over in Yard Rat right now, my boy and yours, he's out there training still, not ready to leave yet. Trying to tap into everything he can. But he can feel it, he can actually feel Goku fighting Moro. And he senses, Moro's, huge fucking power level and all of that. So it's getting very interesting, man. And I'm really waiting for Vegeta to touch down. And I want to see what he's learned. I really want to know what he picked up in Yard Rat, because Vegeta is one of my favorite characters in the series. And I really hope they change it. They change the narrative with this one, with this, not just this chapter, but, with this arc, because I just think that we need something different. You know what I mean? Let Vegeta be that guy for once, please. I would really appreciate that. And I hope we get something in the same kind of, ballpark of what I'm hoping for right now. I really do. But only time will tell. A lot of people are still salty right now over Gohan, and because he's been turned into somebody who is irrelevant. Somebody who has same blood running through his veins, somebody who's actually taking his fighting seriously again, and not being able to capitalize on that, because these people out here in these writing rooms in their pens don't want to write that into the story for whatever reason. Maybe Goku does get a chance to shine again one day, but right now this is not it. And all the Gohan fans listening, man, I feel your fucking pain. There's a lot of Piccolo fans out there too, and I don't know, guys. I just don't know. We shall see. On the time will tell. But really, the manga didn't tell us too much. It just basically shows Goku and Moro fighting right now, and it's basically showing that Goku, as powerful as he is, and how he's, how much he's gained in the past, however long he was training for, is just not enough, to take down Moro. And I think, it makes sense. If you're into Dragon Ball, if you've been watching Dragon Ball, some of the ways that they kind of work. Vegeta's out there training, so we're definitely going to see him come and touch down. And really, I'm just waiting to see what happens when he gets here and what he's learned and what he can do, compared to Goku. But that's about it on that arc, man. I mean, that's pretty much all it covered. So When anything changes, I will definitely let you guys know, and I cannot wait for the English version to come out so that I can get a little bit more insight on what was said, and that would give us a little bit more knowledge on what to expect moving into the future. All right, now that we're off Dragon Ball, want to talk about Ozark season 3. Just finished it up literally a few hours ago. Oh man, love the show. My jaw dropped. I mean, I'm talking about the last 20 seconds of the last episode, man. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it right now because it's not that fresh, but it still just came out not too long ago. But man, it's just full of all kinds of surprises. If you haven't seen Ozark, if you have Netflix, it's definitely a show I recommend to lose yourself in. If you're looking for a good show, something to watch, that's a dope one. Altered Carbon is a dope one. There's so many good ones, man. Even some old classics like Dexter, and you can get into those. There's a lot of dope ones, man. But yeah, Ozark is definitely one to keep an eye on for sure. I would definitely recommend that. Highly recommend this show, man. It's about a family who basically got into some trouble in Chicago with the mob, and some shit went kind of south, and they had to get away, and they had to get away fast. So they moved to, the Midwest, near Kansas, and basically try to start anew. What they ended up doing was getting back into a corner where they were forced to launder money for, drug lords or whatnot. And they have a daughter and a son, young teenagers, and that's where the shit starts, man. And just imagine that. Just imagine, being put in that scenario and having to adapt around your surroundings, meet new people, deal with a lot of, the townsfolk who have been there, and a lot of, you have the local people who, there's the local big heads and big wigs in the town. It's just a lot of shit, a lot of toes being stepped on, a lot of backstabbing going on, a lot of drama in family drama. I mean, this shit could tear families apart. It has, and you get to see all the dynamics, in this show, and everything, and so much more that take place during these first 3 seasons, man. It's like, I don't know, it's like Netflix crack. I guess you can say that. I don't know what else, how else to word it, but it is definitely crazy, and I definitely recommend this shit. Anyway, moving on. As far as watching shit, like just, there's been so many things that have taken my time this week, and I'm going to get into those in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I want to talk about a game, though. I talked about it a little bit prior in another episode, but a game from the Nintendo Switch. It's a game made by one fucking guy, this Russian cat. I think his name, he pronounces like Rio. I could be getting it wrong, guys. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but I do know it's made by one guy. I know it's like a, 16-bit video game, 8-bit, 16-bit game. I want to say 16, but it's a retro style, graphics style game, and the game is just wonderful. How does it? Oh, man, I'm trying to think of a game it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of what's the man? I can't even think of a game right now off the top of my head that it reminds me of. Shenmue, kind of like Shenmue in a sense, as far as like how open it is and where you can just kind of like go off and do whatever you want. There's no really set, thing that you have to do. They don't tell you. They don't hold your hand. You know what I mean? They just let you run wild. And there is basically is a timer, just day by day type of thing. The day cycle, night cycle type of thing. And that's it. It's up to you to do everything else, to use that time wisely or not. You're this young guy. The game is called the Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. Okay, you're this high school gang leader in the last year of your high school education is coming down to a close, and you basically have to decide what you want to do. I mean, it's a coming to terms type of game, and you just basically trying to figure out what do you want to do with your life. You know, you can study if you want to and get good grades, get decent grades, and get scholarship money, or not. You can choose to skip school if you want to. You can study at home. You can study in the library. You can go to gyms and get trained and get stronger. You can, meet and run into different, teachers of different fighting styles and learn how to fight and learn new moves and things of that nature. You know, it's basically a RPG brawler. But yeah, it's a RPG brawler, man, and at heart. But it's more to it than that. The dynamic between your friends and the characters, it's very interesting. You have to go to sleep. If you don't sleep, then your character he ends up, falling out, passing out, and losing, so much time in the day over sleeping and all of that. And you only have so much time in the day to get things done too. You can get a job if you want to. Man, you can do so much in this game. And I just really lost myself in this game. I've been playing that, and it's on a Nintendo Switch. I think it's also on PC and Mac. So those are the only platforms you can get it on. But yeah, $15, man, on the fucking Nintendo eShop. And I've been enjoying myself with that. Right along with Golf Story. I talked about Golf Story last podcast. So yeah, definitely check that one out too. You don't even have to be a golf fan to enjoy this game. It's just a fun game. And I'm having a blast with that as well. But anyway, I had to mention that game. Really loved it. It's so Japanese. It's crazy this guy was from Russia, but he captured Japan so fucking great, so well. And I just love that style of game. I really love the Japanese culture. I really, anime is like one of my favorite things in the world. So I just love everything about a lot of the things that they do. So definitely check that game out if you have a Nintendo Switch or if you have a PC, man, for sure. All right. Now I want to talk about, this coronavirus shit. This coronavirus shit has been, it's really been doing a lot of damage out here in these streets. And, I mentioned before that I used to be a wrestling fan, not a wrestling fan now so much, but I do keep up with what's going on out here in these wrestling streets. And I'm a sports guy too. I love my football, I love my boxing, and a little bit of basketball here and there. But what I want to say is there was an XFL relaunch not too long ago, and it was doing well. This was right before, the coronavirus really took charge and really started wiping shit out, and people, got shook and everything got shut down. But the XFL, man, it's basically, it was a company started years back before, didn't do well because there were some bad decisions that were made. But this time around, man, they were actual games on. I used to watch them on YouTube, and a lot of the rule changes in football were different for the better, if you ask me. And I thought it was going to go places. I thought eventually, they would hang around long enough to join up with the NFL and maybe, make some miracles happen, make some deals. But Vince McMahon, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he basically is the head honcho in charge of WWF, or I say WWE now. And it's been hitting hard, guys. It basically, he basically had to shut down the XFL. And then to add insult to injury, he had to lay off a shitload of wrestlers, man. Because if you've noticed, the last few wrestling events and shows have been taking place, with no audience. And that's their bread. That's their moneymaker. Those house shows and people coming to these events and buying tickets and things of that nature. They're not making any money, man. They're losing thousands and thousands of dollars every single day, maybe even millions. Okay. And I guess to stop the bleeding, he basically had to cut a lot of ties with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Nobody's coming to the shows or whatever. And it's not the same. It's just not the same with no crowd. I looked at it a couple times on YouTube and I was like, yo, I could not finish watching it. It just didn't. The crowd is like half of what being a wrestler is all about. You know what I mean? It just seemed like it was just wrong. And to see these guys doing things and acting and all that with no audience, it made me sad. It really made me sad. They were trying their hardest, but it's just, I couldn't buy it. I couldn't watch it. And a lot of wrestlers got laid off, and there's a lot of people who lost their jobs, who we'll never hear about, the behind the scenes people, referees and producers and things of that, the people who make, this ship, run, you're not going to hear that. But when you hear certain wrestlers come out, because these are the guys you actually watch, I mean, it definitely tells you, that this shit is not a game. And some of those wrestlers were characters like Zack Ryder, Rusev, and one I used to watch, as a kid, and, during the Attitude Era and all that, Kurt Angle. I mean, a legend in the game. Yes, he's past his prime and he's in the twilight of his career, and all of that, but he was another one who was let go. I mean, for them to let Kurt Angle go and say, look, we can't even pay you anymore for everything you gave, to this company, that says a lot, man. That says they're fucking hurting. Heath Slater's another one, and then Lance Storm is another guy I grew up watching. Lance Storm in the WCW, he also wrestled in WWE a lot. He was very talented, man. I really enjoyed this guy, Canadian guy. My boy Jericho, those guys are Canadian. They get shit done, and it's just, my mind was blown, but I guess I wasn't really surprised. I mean, it was only a matter of time when you have a entity like that. It's just only a matter of time. It's not the same as, maybe basketball or even football. I mean, I think I would still watch an NFL game with no audience, no crowd. I mean, I could still do it. And same with NBA. It's just a little bit different with wrestling, man. I can't explain why, but it just is. Anyway, thought I'd share that news if you guys didn't know. Maybe you guys didn't even know who Vince McMahon was. If you did, maybe you didn't know he owned, the XFL, which is basically another form of football, like a semi-pro type of league. And I kind of hate that, man, because they had some talent there. They were doing some great things. Their games were very enjoyable, and I hate to see this happen. Yeah, that's that news there. Hopefully, with this coronavirus shit, hopefully we find some kind of solution, man, in the near future, the next month or so, and we can, we can move on and get on with this, and that'll be that, get everything back to normal, get this economy back rocking again, and man, we'll see. Only time will tell. It could be a month from now, guys. It could be 3, but I can tell you one thing. Thank God for anime and thank God for video games, because sometimes I just don't feel like dealing with this shit, and I just say, fuck it, and I just want to dive in, lose myself in those worlds and get lost. And sometimes that's all you can do, you know what I mean, instead of lingering on what could have been and why comes of the world. So thought I'd lay that 2 cents on the table. Anyway, I'm going to get ready to get up out of here. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of shows, a couple anime that I'm watching right now. One I already wrapped up and finished, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Love it so much. And another one that I'm in the middle of, and god damn, man, I can't get enough of this shit. First, I'm going to start off with the one that I did wrap up, and it was a shorty but goodie, 26 episodes, okay? It's nice and sweet, but right to the point and very interesting, I thought. And that anime was called The Future Diary. Now, some of you guys may know of it, some of you guys may not, but I decided to take it upon myself to get this one done and watch it. And I had all this anime on my to watch, and I just said, fuck it. I shot one and I said, let's play this one. And I started watching it and I couldn't stop. I ran right through it and I loved it. It's about a boy named Yuki and a girl named Yuno. And I'll just give you a quick premise of it. I mean, it's about a cell phone that can kind of see the future. I think as far as, 10 days ahead. And you come to find out that there are 12 individuals in all who have the ability to basically see the future in different ways, different styles, of course, but still, nevertheless, reading the future. And the goal of I want to just call him a god. He basically is holding this, you can call it a tournament. It's a life or death tournament. Basically, the last person standing, the last person who holds the future diary, the phone, the last one is basically, going to become a god. gets a chance to become a god. All his wishes or her wishes come true. And a lot of these, characters have, very strong, desires and a lot of things, that they are basically needing that to get done for. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these guys have a lot of fucked up problems and they're trying to change their circumstances or whatnot. And the only way that they can probably do it is become a god, But the crazy thing is, it's not as simple as that. What got me more intrigued about this anime is the fact that it once you got past like episode 3, I think I was around episode 3, I started seeing that, they started shaking shit up. A lot of these characters had no desire to actually win, to be a god. They just wanted to be left alone, and they just wanted basically peace. I mean, if it was up to them, they'd have all the, diary holders just be diary holders and get on with their life and just have that ability to have that, and that'd be all. But that's not how it ended, and it got really, really complicated and crazy. And one of the guys, which is the main character, is Yuki, and he's got the phone, and then you meet who is another important piece to the story, pink-haired girl who is infatuated, and I mean infatuated like shit, loves the shit out of Yuki. Okay, Yuki is a fucking bitch. He of a character. I mean, one of the biggest bitches I have fucking seen in the anime thus far, man. As far as he had, especially in the beginning, no fucking heart. He's a fucking wimp. He's just yes, that's just what he is. And on the other hand, this girl is spunky. She is fucking. She's crazy. She's a little batshit crazy, if you ask me. But she's not scared. She wants all the fucking smoke. And I just fell in love with this character. I fell in love with her character. Loved her fucking character. One of my favorite anime characters, as of late, from what I've been watching. Really love her, man. But I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. There's a lot of shit that happens. From episode 1 all the way to episode fucking 26. There's also an OVA that I didn't even get a chance to see. I know what happened, but I definitely want to get a hold of that. It's definitely an anime I want to gold star and add to my collection list. I have a list that I keep now, and everything I fucking watch, I write it on paper. I talked a little bit about this last week, but yeah, I'm gonna move forward with my anime collection, man, and slowly but surely, build that up. And this is one that definitely earned a place there. And I recommend this one highly, highly recommend it, man. If you're looking for something mature, because it definitely is mature. Some of the characters you meet in this fucking this anime are going to blow your socks off, man. I'm telling you, I don't want to fucking give all of it away. There's some crazy characters here. Yes, it is. It's definitely a mature one. It's a darker anime. And, I was just going by what Hulu was basically suggesting I watch. And there's just so many. I'm so excited because after watching this, I think I found another 6 or 7 to add to the to watch list, man. I keep finding new ones every day, seems like. And I cannot wait. I got so much shit to watch anime wise. It's going to be ridiculous. But this is definitely one that I highly recommend, guys. You check out. And I finished it up. And next, the next one I'm currently watching right now is one that this is probably my first anime that I really, it's a mature one as well, but it's more sexually mature, if you will. There's a lot of fucking, there's a lot of skin being shown, a lot of breasts, a lot of nipples, titties, things of that nature. And I'm enjoying it though. It's called High School DxD. You may pronounce it another way. I'm not sure. Me personally, I call it High School Double D. Just because it just suits the fucking, it suits the anime so fucking well, man. These chicks, it's basically about a dude named Issei with, in high school with his boys, a couple of his friends. And then they, your hormones are fucking raging at that age, man. You just kind of like, every time you see, a pair of ass or a pair of titties, man, your shit jumps up. If the wind blows too hard, your dick's gonna get hard. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And they're just going through that type of stuff and sneaking peeks at women, at girls, in the locker room and all that type of stuff. And everybody knows him as a pervert. All the girls call him perv. They know what him and his clique is about. And, he's kind of ostracized because of that, not very popular and all of that. So what ends up happening is he ends up dying. I'm not going to explain how. You just need to check it out. And he ends up being brought back by a beautiful redhead chick named Rias, who I think she's probably like double D's. I mean, big ass titty, man. This girl is beautiful, and she brings him up back to life. She happens to be a fucking devil, okay. And she brings him back to life, and she tells him that, you belong to me now, and you are just basically a piece on my chessboard. And it's basically uses chess as a metaphor for how they set up their different cliques and their teams or whatnot. And and the shit just jumps from there. It just goes crazy from there. She has other friends and people in her clique, if you will, and they all look at him, they don't like him at first, they're kind of standoffish or whatnot, and then it gets really good, man. That's all I can say. He's basically been gifted with a special ability that he didn't even know he had, and he's learning to use that ability, but at the same time learning who Rias is, and all our other friends like Asia, who he meets later on down the line. Beautiful young blonde head chick, man. You got Akano, you got Kiba. There's a lot of different characters in this anime that I really, really like. But Rias is my girl, hands down, number one, numero uno. There's a couple other characters in here that go hard as well. I actually like, but you definitely got to check it out, guys. I'm watching the dub version, and I've also watched the dub version of the Future Diary. The dub on this High School DxD though is fucking excellent. I really enjoy the dub. The things that are said in this anime, bro, is so tight. I love it to fucking death. And as soon as I got like 5-6 episodes in, and I put this anime on my paper, like I need to add this with Gold Star, and it has not disappointed. I watched season 1, season 2, and now I'm on season 3, and I love every fucking minute of it, guys. If you're into those hentai, those anime flirting with hentai a little bit, just a little bit, and they're mature, very mature, and you don't mind a little skin, this is definitely one you want to fucking check out. Very, very dope, and I can't wait to see more in the same kind of genre now. And like I said, it brings me back to the point of exploring with anime, and with anything for that matter, but in anime in general, because that's one of my favorite things to do. You just gotta fucking just pick up something and watch it. You know what I mean? We all go through that where we can't decide what we want to watch. We have all these things to watch, but I know me personally, sometimes it's hard to just pick one, and then you end up, 30 minutes going by and you haven't picked anything. So I'm trying to learn how to just stop doing that shit and just, play it, just fucking play it and go with the flow. If you don't like it after, 3 episodes, 4 episodes, then, it's not for you. You move on to the next one. And, that's just basically what you got to do. And that's what I've been doing. And so far, I had 2 in a row. So, Future Diaries, and then after that, this one. And I got to say, I hope 3 is a charm. I'm going to knock out, the rest of this coming week, and then I'll jump onto something else. So next week, I'll definitely be talking about a new anime, something else I've been watching. I've got some recommendations from some friends. And if you guys have any recommendations, man, please, I would love to fucking hear it. I really fucking would. Any recommendations, it doesn't matter what it is now. I'm not, even though I do have preferences, I'm not holding those, those don't hold any weight right now anymore. I'm just jumping out there. I've heard Food Wars was a nice one. Like I'm ready to watch anything. If it's entertaining and I fucking like it, I don't give a fuck what it is, guys. And I'm learning that more and more when it comes to my anime and picking what I watch. That's how I need to approach it. So if you have any, just holler at me. You can definitely get at me on social media. It's so fucking easy. On Instagram at StudioMguyvR79, on Twitter at StudioMguyvR. There's a Facebook page at StudioMguyvR as well. You can also check out me on a YouTube channel, StudioMguyvR TV. Check out videos. I'm playing all kinds of video games, and then I also put out videos of discussions. Some of what kind of like what we do here. About anime, about games, what's coming out, how I feel about certain things. Surrounding nerd culture. So if you like that, then you'd probably enjoy some of those videos, man. Check that out as well. Shows your love. Subscribe to the channel and just show your love and support for the kid. Also, check out Beautiful Nerds, man. If you're into merch, backpacks, hats, mainly t-shirts, that's their specialty. You want to check out Beautiful Nerds. That's www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled N-U-R-D-Z. They update with things, brand new items and shit every fucking month. So definitely check them out. Give them a shout. And you might want to thank me after that. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Definitely check out those anime if you haven't seen those. Those are my recommendations to you guys. And like I said before, I want to hear some recommendations from you. If you want to be a guest on the show, maybe one day we can make that happen. I mean, a lot of us aren't doing anything for the most part. We're sitting in the house anyway. We got some time. So, it'd be kind of cool to have somebody else on here, somebody that I haven't had on here to discuss, some more anime and some more games, man. But that being said, guys, I want to say I love you guys. I want to thank everybody for listening and everybody who's been down for day one. You know I love you. And I'll see you guys next week. This is Studio McGyver, and you have been listening to Studio McGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.